What's up everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Siam and today I want to talk about TFSAs, tax-free savings accounts. So if you live in Canada and you're new to investing, you don't know what you're doing, you don't have a TFSA or you heard of one, you don't know what it is, this video is going to be very useful for you. I'm going to go in as in depth as possible and I'm going to try and cover as many things as I can, explaining to you guys what a TFSA is and why I think every Canadian should have one. So basically TFSAs were introduced to Canada in 2009 and although it's called a TFSA, it's really an investment account, and the reason why I say that is because it includes several different things such as bonds, ETFs, mutual funds, stocks, GICs. So the beauty of a TFSA is that if you put your money into your account, whatever gains or capital gains you make on that money, all of it's going to be tax-free. So let's say you invest without a TFSA and you make capital gains, chances are when you take out that money, it's going to be taxed. However, there is one catch, and that is that there's contribution limits. Obviously, you can't just put all your money into your TFSA and just trade and try and make tax-free capital gains. Now, of course, we would love that, but unfortunately, the government put a limit on it. So there is contribution limits every year, which is around $6,000, but it varies. And I'll put a list up here that you can see. However, just keep in mind that every year is slightly different. Sometimes it might be the same. Basically, I turned 18 in 2018. And yes, the only time you can have a TFSA is when you turn 18. And that means I have a $23,500 contribution limit. This table basically goes over that. So as you can see, I turned 18 in 2018. And that year, the limit was $5,500, which was just a random number chosen by the government, usually around $5,000, $6,000. And then you can see every year after that, it was $6,000. If you add up all those values from 2018 to 2021, you can see that it adds up to $23,500. So that is the maximum amount of money I can put into my TFSA. So if you're wondering what happens if you go over your limit, so let's say I put in $24,000 where I'm only allowed to put $23,500. Basically, since I put in an excess amount of money into my account, I will be penalized 1% per month until I withdraw that amount. Penalized or penalized? I actually don't know, but however you want to say it, have at it. Another thing is, a lot of people wonder, where do I have to go to open a TFSA? You can use anything. You can go to your bank to open a TFSA. You can use Questrade. You can use Wealthsimple. I personally use Wealthsimple, and I have a link in my description. So if you want to use that, we can both get $10 when you open your account. And that way, we can both grow our TFSAs at the same time. But the reason why I like Wealthsimple is they actually have less management fees. So the difference is with Wealthsimple and a bank is that Wealthsimple uses robo-advisors, whereas banks use actual employees who manage your portfolio for you. And with that, usually there's going to be a management expense ratio, which is called an MER. Usually it's around 1%, maybe 1.1, somewhere around there. Whereas a robo-advisor, since you don't have to pay them, charges around 0.5%, I believe. Whatever it is, it's less than having actual employees, obviously. And I just like that just because you get to make a little bit more money in your account. And the next thing is, a lot of people wonder, can you only have one account? Well, actually, no, you can have multiple accounts. You can have as many as you want. You just have to be careful and you just have to track your limit. So let's say you have two accounts, one at a bank and you have one at Wealthsimple. You just have to split your limit among the two. So my limit is $23,500. I can put in as much as I want into each account as long as the total ends up equaling $23,500. So you just have to keep track of that, which can get confusing sometimes. So I personally only have Wealthsimple just so I don't have to worry about that headache. Besides that, I do have another TFSA with Wealthsimple. So yeah, I have two in Wealthsimple. One is just for investing, so you put your money in and the robo-advisor, like I said, will invest your money for you. And the other one I have is just a personal TFSA, which allows me to trade in it myself however I want to. This isn't really for beginner investors or people who are just getting into investing and trying to understand what investing even is. This is people who are a little bit more familiar, did the research, and now they want to test out stock trading and dabble in the stock market a little bit. Or even if you want to buy crypto or some Bitcoin, you can go ahead and do that in Wealthsimple with their TFSA. And the benefit of doing that will be that obviously you won't, if you make any profits, they won't be taxed, and all your capital gains won't be taxed. Now that being said, you obviously if you're trading on your own, you do risk making losses. You just have to be aware of that. And speaking of losses, sometimes if you have a TFSA, let's say you put in $10,000 in your TFSA, and you notice that over 6 months you actually lost money, and now instead of 10,000, it's at 9,800. You're down $200. Do not pull out your money. Don't worry about it because it will recover. Just give it some time. Never pull out. Don't be fearful. Just wait it out. Within a year, it'll come back. So for me, back in March before the pandemic, I had $10,000 invested into my TFSA, and it actually went down in value. But I knew that after the pandemic, it would come back, and in fact, it did. And now I'm up positive 400 in profit. So yeah, always wait it out and just see what happens. Don't freak out whenever you're down a little bit. That's pretty normal. Another nice thing you can do with your TFSAs is choose your risk level. So a lot of people have different tastes. So if you're super risky or super safe, you can choose that. Wealthsimple or your bank will ask you a little survey, and they'll try and figure out how risky of a person you are. It's usually on a scale of 0 to 10, 5 being balanced, which is what most people end up choosing at first. I'm slightly above balance. I'm at 6 or 7. I don't remember. But basically what that means is if you're super risky in the 10 side, what's going to happen is a larger percentage of your portfolio will be geared towards ETFs and stocks, which do have a tendency to be slightly more volatile. So if you want a much more return, you might get that, but you might also lose just as much over the short term. Whereas people who are less risky will have their portfolio geared mostly towards GICs and safer things like that. And obviously a GIC is a guaranteed investment certificate, but since it is guaranteed and it's safe, you will likely earn less than what is average in the stock market of to be 7%. You'll probably make around 4%, where average is 7% on annual returns. Another thing to note that not many people know of is that when you're investing in a TFSA, you are investing after-tax dollars. So what that means is, let's say you made $100,000 this year, and you had to pay taxes. I'm just gonna make up some random amount, unless you paid your taxes and now you're left with $60,000. When you invest in your TFSA, it's gonna be from that $60,000 because that is your after-tax dollars that you own. So with that being said, I hope that covers everything and what a TFSA is. I personally think every Canadian should have one. This is probably one of the most useful investment tools that are provided to Canadians, similar to the Roth IRA in America. And yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Please like the like button and subscribe to the subscribe button. Let me know if you want to see anything more, if you have any questions, if you have any recommendations on what else you'd like to see. I'm going to be making a lot more videos soon about RRSPs, my top 5 credit cards, so stay tuned for those. Thank you for clicking on this video and welcome to my journey, and yeah, let's get rich together. Also, feel free to let me know how I did with editing this video. This is my first YouTube video. I've never made YouTube videos properly before. I'm still new to this whole thing. I'm still trying to figure it out, but let your boy know how he did. And if you'd like to connect, feel free to DM me on Instagram, which I will leave a link for in my description. Thank you. See ya.